Alright, and welcome back, folks, to our Star Trek Judgment Rites playthrough. Last time we played, we just started the Light and Darkness mission, and
we are too far from the planet for a detailed sensor probe, Captain.
so we gotta go
Entering standard orbit.
into the orbit. Find out what's going on here.
Fascinating, Captain. Sensors indicate only two faint life forms. It is difficult to distinguish, given the discharges in the planet's magnetosphere. It is, however, safe to transport to the planet's surface.
You know what that means. We're going in. Well, actually,
No signal from the planet other than the distress beacon, sir.
okay. We're going in.
Captain, our sensors will not be particularly useful to you while you're down there, and communications may be erratic, sir.
We'll be fine, Lieutenant. What reason is there to worry?
I'm afraid, Captain, there are plenty of precedents. We'll be here if you need us.
I have no doubt of that.
I have tracked the signal to its source. It is near the life forms. The rest of the planet is quite desolate. No sign of life or technology. The atmosphere is thin, but breathable. And I detect numerous micrometeorite hits.
There are 3 unformed planets in this system. It's no wonder. There are so many micrometeorites. I'm surprised any Class M planet hasn't been pulverized by now.
It is not inconceivable, but it is certainly unusual.
Let's do it, Spock. You, McCoy, and I. Oh, and tell Bones to see if a genetic specialist's available. If there are only 2 life forms, we might be privileged to see life at its earliest stages.
Oh, we got a blue shirt. That's pretty rare.
Seems to me as if we've landed on a skeleton after the vultures have picked it clean.
A fascinating analogy, Doctor. Captain, the locus of the distress signal is in that building.
I think the doctor is right. Anything good here died a long time ago. It feels creepy to me.
Thank you for that opinion, Mr. Johns. I'll be certain to use creepy in my log entry about this.
How you doing there, Freeport? Ready for more Star Trek adventure games?
Nothing unusual about that object, Captain. The vast majority of the water on this world is trapped within the rocks beneath the ground. It is unlikely that it could be harvested commercially because of the amount of energy it would take to free it. The world is quite normal, though the rocks are rather sparse in silicates. The planet is habitable, but unsuitable for colonization. Captain, may I suggest we continue with our mission?
Okay, let's talk to the boys, though.
It strikes me as unlikely, Captain, that this world is capable of sustaining the society and culture needed to generate the distress signals we have been receiving from here.
How strange.
Forgive me for saying so, sir, but this place is pitiful.
Well, I think I've finally found something I dislike more than having my molecules scrambled. This world.
Bones, stop complaining. There's nothing wrong with this place aside from a little dust. A magnificent desolation. Reminds me of a summer I spent on Mars, climbing Olympus Mons.
You're kidding, right?
All right, let's go. Going in.
Well, I have to hand it to whoever built this place. All this equipment looks brand new and in good repair.
Let's hope the Enterprise looks this good when it's this old.
We should be very careful about how we proceed, Captain. I have a strange feeling that evil is lurking nearby.
Evil, Ensign?
Something that wants to imperil our souls, sir. We must avoid that at all costs.
Right, well, we've got some sludge here. Let's talk to everyone, as we usually do. Then we scan everything, then we...
A DNA synthesizer and replicator. This is one of the most advanced genetics facilities I have ever seen. How unusual.
How so, Spock?
Even visitors to this planet would leave behind a substantial number of artifacts. Sending only a genetics lab does not fit established archaeological patterns.
I haven't seen equipment like this since I interned on Talara. Such equipment. In such a place.
You know, a person could do serious research with a device like this. What an odd piece of equipment to find in a place like this.
Oh, how you doing there, Bug Eye?
Save new game. Replace previous save new.
L and D2. Start the scans. What is this?
There are life form readings just to the east and west of this room. This DNA sequencer appears to be nearly 50,000 years old, yet it has not broken down and appears to be fully powered.
Uh-huh.
Aside from some dust and dirt and a small chemical deposit on the intake nozzle, this DNA replicator appears to be in the same condition that it was 50,000 years ago. Readings indicate that along with oxidation and dust, there is some organic residue in the crust-like buildup.
Okay.
I'm just a simple country doctor, not a magician. There are some things I just can't fix.
I just wanted you to scan the organic material there, Bones.
Captain, Ensign Johns would be the ideal person to operate this device. It appears to be ancient, yet resembles devices that were introduced into the Federation last year.
Wow, this is almost identical to an 8000 sequencer. Cutting-edge Federation technology. Just input a sample, and the sequencer analyzes it so it can be spliced or altered on the genetic level with the replicator. Captain, we have to run a set of source samples through the sequencer before I can make a composite sample with the replicator.
Okay. Interesting.
I welcome you, otherworlders. I beseech you, save us from that which seeks our destruction.
How fitting for a devil to appear on a world that looks like hell.
Enough of that, Mr. Johns. This is just another xenobiological entity.
Correction, Doctor. This is a projection of a xenobiological entity.
Jim, the only life form readings are within that machine behind the portal. Single-cell organisms with an extremely high reproductive rate, but a very poor metabolism and an extremely short lifespan. How come I always come to the barren planets, Jim?
This place feels evil, sir. I hope we don't have to stay here very long.
This machine is a genetic bank, Captain. I suspect that the projection acts as a fail-safe mechanism that will surrender samples of the genetic code for sequencing and replication when the mechanism is willing.
Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you? So, when do the wicked witches and goblins show up?
Why would you say that?
Your emergency beacon and statement lead me to believe you see more of an emergency than exists here. Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you?
Probably the right one. 3.
So, your emergency beacon and statement lead me to believe you see more of an emergency than exists here.
Like, that's just being... Wow, you think there's an emergency here? Okay. Sure hologram.
Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you?
I am Visner of the Alphan people. Our race possessed this world and thrived here until the invasion by the forces of light. We are locked in a death struggle with them, for they desire our destruction. Do you aid them?
No, we do not aid them. Wars and destruction are not things we value, Visner. Our prime directive prevents us from interfering in internal struggles. But at the request of all parties, we might negotiate a compromise. Forgive me, but I find that claim insupportable. This world, while grim, hardly looks like a battleground. Who is trying to destroy it? Wars and destruction are not things we value, Visner. Our prime directive prevents us from interfering in internal struggles. But at the request of all parties, we might negotiate a compromise. Forgive me, but I find that claim insupportable. This world, while grim, hardly looks like a battleground. Who is trying to destroy it? Wars and destruction.
You open yourself to confusion in speaking with Azra, but it is understandable that you want to hear his side before acting. My assessment of you suggests that most of you will fight the clouding of logic and will see through Azra's deception. Please report to me your success.
Wouldn't influencing a compromise violate the Prime Directive? Well, here's the thing.
Save new game.
The Prime Directive during the TOS was very loose. It was only in Next Generation that the Prime Directive became like very tight. And Janeway just did not care about, well, to be fair, she just wanted to go home. Oh wait, I didn't do anything here.
A large alien computer.
The computer is functional, but I detect no connection between the keyboard and the machine itself. Apparently, it was designed this way. Energy levels behind this glass are more than sufficient for having powered the distress signal we received.
Interesting. If Janeway had followed the Prime Directive, she and her crew wouldn't be stranded in the Delta Quadrant. Really?
Nothing unusual about that object, Captain.
I'm trying to remember how she got caught. I remember she was fighting against
The computer is functional,
the
but
Maquis.
I detect no connection between the keyboard and the machine itself. Apparently, it was designed this way.
Okay, well. Oh, there was another alien here. Oh. Wasn't it Q? No, I don't think it was Q.
Greetings, gentle beings, and welcome. I am Azra of the Omegan people.
The Omegan.
You are the salvation we have long sought. Thank you for answering our summons.
An angel!
Actually, it is the projected image of an angel, Mr. Johns.
Jim, somewhere in that machine behind the portal are single-cell organisms. They have a healthy metabolism and long lifespan, but an extremely low rate of reproduction.
Okay, well, let's talk to the creature.
So where's the emergency? Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you? All right, I know you're just a projection. Let's speak with your real masters. Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you?
I am Azra of the Omegan people, an ancient and venerable race which labors to prevent the domination of this world by the forces of darkness. We require you to expunge this place of our mortal enemies.
Captain, the most worthwhile purpose in life is to fight against the forces of darkness. We must help him.
Enemies? This world is so barren that all the life on it is located right here. If you have mortal enemies, we've not seen them. Who are you talking about? Our Prime Directive prohibits us from taking part in wars on one side or the other. It would be seen as intervention. We are willing to negotiate a compromise. You will forgive me if I don't fall for a pretty face. I'm not about to expunge anyone. And I will take no action until I've heard both sides of the story. Enemies? This world is so barren that all the life on it is located right here. If you have mortal enemies, we've not seen them. Who are you talking about?
One? Okay.
I speak of the Alphans, of course. They
The
are
Alphans
foul,
and the
cold
Omegans?
creatures who pervert even the most sacred ideas. They cling to the heretical belief that life began within darkness. Of course, we recognize light as the life bringer. All things began in a brilliant, life-giving burst of light.
A burst of light? That's a common motif in creation stories.
Or in accordance with the Big Bang theory of the universe's creation.
You must expunge the world of the Alphans. This is why I called you here. I know you can accomplish what you need to do with the equipment that is present. Be warned, Visner can be very persuasive. I await your report of success.
There's no need to leave. We've already talked with Visner. I have to say that I find many of your claims insupportable.
Insupportable? How can you defend a race whose very existence is based upon deceit and foul lies?
Foul lies? Their position contradicts yours, but there are similarities. You dwell on your differences so much, you just can't see them. Frankly, Azra, Visner is quite rational and makes your impassioned pleas for genocide sound psychotic. For a being of goodness, you're rather bloodthirsty. Maybe you should try practicing what you preach. Foul lies? Their position contradicts yours, but there are similarities. You dwell on your differences so much, you just can't see them.
Ooh, which one?
Frankly, for a being
I don't know
of
this
goodness,
one.
Frankly, Azra, Visner is quite
Probably
rational. and makes
not
your
this
impassioned
one.
pleas for genocide sound psychotic.
Probably not calling the guy psycho would be a good one.
For a being of goodness, foul lies? Their position contradicts yours, but there are similarities.
Captain, they're as different as angels and demons.
Similarities? They are beings of shadow. They mock our perfection. They are our antithesis, created after we were to destroy us and our potential for good.
You repeatedly proclaim yourself good and suggest you are morally superior to the Alphans. Why don't you act like it? If you're so perfect, how come you need our help? You said they were created after you were. How do you know that?
Yeah, that's true. How do they know that?
We know we came first because that is what our sacred scriptures tell us. In the light we were born and commanded to shun that which dwells in darkness. This clearly tells us that we came first. Surely you can see that. Or is it that you have some other interpretation of the event that birthed the Omegans?
Does your sacred scriptures explicitly say that no beings were created before you?
Dare you suggest they came first?
Let's see what we've got. 2 single-celled organisms, each incapable of survival on their own. One lives in light, the other lives in darkness. Each must live a limited and unstable life without the other.
Captain, do you know what you're doing?
Allow us to unite you again. Your combined strengths will make you a viable entity again.
The persuasiveness of your arguments has opened for me a door through which I spy a future and a truth that I have long denied. You are correct. Perhaps being only half of a whole, I could not see the solution. Yes, I desire your help for my people. Help us.
Oh, they dropped something.
It is not unpleasant to the touch.
Pick it up.
No effect.
The sample dish feels warm to the touch.
Save new game.
Alright, so now that we have the Omegans, let's go pick up some Alphans. I guess we'll put them in the sequencer together and then pop them out here. Probably have to do something with the sledge.
Maybe I should ask Spot to take a look at this.
I am reactivating Visner, Captain.
Was it not as I said it would be? Are not the Omegans a fanatical race, uninterested in anything but fulfilling some self-contradictory messianic destiny for themselves? I assume they filled your heads with their warped theology.
Frankly, Visner, Azra is certainly committed to his cause, but hardly the blood-mad fanatic you describe him to be. Warped theology. It is true they differ greatly from you, but your worldviews are based on common beliefs. You see things from different perspectives, that's all. Frankly, there's no warped theology.
2?
It is true they differ greatly from you, but your worldview...
Are you utterly ungrounded in logic? They are creatures of superstition. They invaded our world, then sought to drive us from it. How can you suggest we are anything alike?
You question my grounding in logic, but you don't apply logic to an examination of Alphan beliefs. Aren't they concerned with the same things you are? You're supposed to be the reasonable one. Your facts can't be very persuasive if you aren't willing to try and find common ground. You said they usurped your place in the world, which suggests prior ownership by you. What evidence do you have to support that concept? You question my grounding in logic, but you don't apply logic to an examination of Alphan beliefs.
How can their concerns match ours
when
they reach conclusions based on superstition in a document which is largely allegorical in content?
Logic, when applied to your arguments and theirs, suggests that you have had the same experience. The two of you are united in a common drive to attain an end. Your mutual distrust reflects a fear of facing your destiny. Realizing your full potential will not be without risk, of course, but it is possible. Meet us, meet the Omegans halfway, and we will help you fulfill your destiny.
Not a bad psychoanalysis, Jim. Freud would be proud.
Captain, you may be ignoring the obvious.
Your position is unassailable and points out the one and only purpose for our races. Thank you, Captain Kirk, for making me see that. Yes, I desire your help for my people. Help us.
Well, we got a sample. We did it, boys.
You take the alpha sample, which feels cold to the touch.
Almost seems a bit bare bones. There's like 4 rooms. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, what do we do with this grime here?
Readings indicate that along with oxidation and dust, there is some organic residue in the crust-like buildup.
Gun. Fine, no, let's save. Let's save.
Save new game. Replace.
A unique use of a phaser, but adequate for removing the deposits from the apparatus.
It's a hospital?
There are life form readings just to the
it's a
east
lab.
and west of this room.
Alright, so let's put the samples in. Wait, no, let's scan the samples.
Boy, these Alphans are healthy little beggars. They're multiplying at a phenomenal rate. These Omegans are incredible. They metabolize almost everything, which explains how they give off that glow.
I don't know why, but I could not get a good sampling.
No, I don't think that's necessary.
This sample sequence is like a dream.
Okay.
I was unaware you had studied genetics at the Academy, Captain.
Captain, we have to run a set of source samples through the sequencer before I can make a composite sample with the replicator. Wow, this is almost identical to an 8000 sequencer. Cutting-edge Federation technology. Just input a sample, and the sequencer analyzes it so it can be spliced or altered on the genetic level with the replicator.
How unusual. Maybe I should have a go at this problem.
I don't think you'll be able to help, Doctor.
Look, Ensign, you've already crossed the line between incompetence and insubordination. I'm trying to help save your career.
I appreciate your effort, but you can't help me.
Damn.
Ensign, let Dr. McCoy try that troublesome sequence.
I can do the job, sir, if I can have some peace and quiet here.
Mr. Johns, I think I'm getting a clear picture here of your difficulties. Do you realize that insubordination is an offense punishable by a court-martial? It looks to me that you're deliberately trying to mislead us. That's not a good career move. Calm down, Ensign. No one is criticizing you. I just need answers.
Probably the right one.
I appreciate the offer, Captain, but I know what's right and wrong here, so I don't need your help.
Ensign, I appreciate your situation, but this is not the time for philosophy. You have a job to do. Ensign, you are here as a genetic engineer, not as a philosopher. I expect my orders to be obeyed, and if you have a problem with them, I don't expect to be deliberately misled. I could really use a Tellarite security officer right now. Ensign, I appreciate your situation, but this is not the time for philosophy. You have a job to do.
You don't understand, Captain. Look at the Alphans and look at the Omegans. There's so much evil in the universe. You're asking me to destroy a race of good and beauty by mixing their genetics with something ugly, something evil. I can't do it.
Ensign, these Alphans and Omegans are single-celled creatures. Those projections are only constructs. Examine them yourself. Could their DNA produce creatures like Azra and Visner? I am asking you to do nothing of the kind, Ensign. You believe in the struggle of good against evil, and I respect that. But the application of your philosophical perspective is misplaced here. The Alphans and Omegans are single-celled creatures. They are no more capable of good or evil than a tribble. Can't you see that? Ensign, I think you're confusing things. The Alphans and Omegans are single-celled creatures. While the projections may have seemed sophisticated and human, they are constructs. You can look at the sequence and tell what you have there for DNA could never produce such a creature, can't you?
Can't you?
Ensign, these Alphans and Omegans are single-celled creatures. Those projections are only constructs. Examine them yourself. Could their DNA produce creatures like Azra and Visner?
Single cells. You're right. I've been a real idiot, judging a book by its cover. I suppose I should take a refresher course in Aesop.
It wouldn't hurt. Some of the wisest people in history have written for children.
Thank you, sir. I hope you'll give me a chance to correct my mistakes. Do you think we're really meant to combine the two races?
You've programmed the sequences. You can tell whether they're compatible.
Sir, the sequencer indicates that they need to be combined for their continual survival. But how did you know?
I listened to Dr. McCoy. It seemed the logical conclusion, given the evidence.
Thank you, Captain.
All right. So,
Captain, we have to run a set of source samples through the sequencer before I can make a composite sample with the replicator.
oh, maybe we gotta.
The alpha sample is sequenced, sir.
I was unaware you had studied genetics at the Academy, Captain.
The two samples have joined together as easily as if they had once been a whole and had been separated before.
Any race that had this technology 50,000 years ago could possibly have been able to perform such a dissection and kept both halves alive.
Captain, with the samples sequenced together, I'm ready to use the replicator to produce a sample with the combined genetic data. am producing a new culture, Captain. Captain, the genetic sequence is still stored in the computer. If we need another sample, the replicator can generate it.
All right.
I officially christen this life form the Gammons.
The Gammons.
Save new game. Replace.
I'm gonna assume that we gotta use this here, right?
Well, Jim, it doesn't look like it does anything. Oh, I guess I spoke too soon. It took it in. It looks as if the colony is getting a foothold in there.
Life energy levels are spiking. They're building to a level sufficient for sending out a signal 100 times stronger than the one that brought us here, Captain.
The Gammon sample appears to be thriving in this environment.
Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created. I am authorized to tell you. Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created. I am authorized to tell you.
It would appear there is more to this message than we are receiving.
Kirk to Uhura, are you receiving any strange subspace or radio signals?
Captain, there is a neutrino-based transmission being broadcast near your current position from a point of unknown origin, probably from another star system. Our equipment is not designed to handle it. Though given 1 to 2 weeks, we might be able to identify patterns and extrapolate what it's trying to say.
We'll work on the problem from here. Kirk out.
Kirk out.
Save new game. Replace pre.
This projection is being cycled at 1,000 frames a second, which suggests the equipment was designed to function in the presence of a race that has a sharper visual acuity than the human or Vulcan races. The computer is functional, but I detect no connection between the keyboard and the machine itself. Apparently, it was designed this way.
Okay. So now what?
An antenna. I wonder what it was meant for.
That's what we're here to find out, Mr. Johns.
The array appears to have deployed recently, which explains its lack of damage. The focal point of the dish is aligned approximately 35 degrees above the horizon. This appears to be similar to Federation technology, Captain. Its control principles are similar to the Medaille sensor dish on Vulcan. It has locked the array at a 35-degree angle. Without knowledge of the code control sequence, I cannot adjust it. I also detect that its power core is not functioning. It operates on geothermal energy, tapping into heat from the ground below. Nothing unusual about that object, Captain. These rocks are approximately 1.3 billion years old and are volcanic in origin. Nothing unusual about that object, Captain.
Just have to power the receiver, sure.
Nothing unusual about that object, Captain.
You know, Jim, this is not the kind of place to inspire homesickness.
I hope they didn't pay the landscapers very many credits for this work.
Aside from this sensor array, there is nothing unexpected here.
Okay.
quite a picnic spot, but it has its charm. What do you think, Bones?
With the thin atmosphere, sunblock 187 would be nice.
There's another one.
The array appears to have deployed recently, which explains its lack of damage, though support beneath the base is weak and crumbled. It is aligned to a point approximately 35 degrees above the horizon. Captain, the controls indicate the device is aligned at an angle approximately 35 degrees above the horizon. There appears to be some sort of anomaly in the control program that has misaligned the controls, but my tricorder is unable to determine it. Without a method of determining the proper angle, I am afraid I cannot realign the dish. I do not see the logic in that action. Captain, these controls do not seem to be functioning properly.
Someone once tried to talk me into buying a retirement villa on a world like this. It was a bargain.
Small wonder then.
This array is clear evidence of an ongoing alien interest in this world.
Someone selling ice water here would make a fortune.
Kind of reminds me of a Klingon penal colony, don't you think?
I think I would just as soon avoid the research needed to make that judgment, sir.
All right, so what do we do?
Save new, replace previous.
Useless, useless. Well, maybe, no. I don't think we need to shoot the thing. We need to scan, we just did.
Scotty, I need a calculation from the main computer.
While I know the computers on the Enterprise aren't quite as good as her engines, I think she'll manage.
I am sending the problem.
Ugh, that was too easy, Mr. Spock. The angle is 32.5 degrees.
Thank you, Mr. Scott.
So is there anything else you need, Captain?
Not now, Scotty. Kirk out.
Captain, I cannot realign the sensor until power has been returned.
I'm actually curious.
Mr. Scott requests to know if everything is all right, sir.
Tell Mr. Scott that everything is fine. Kirk out.
Oh, okay.
Captain, until power has been returned to these controls, there is nothing I can do.
Save new game. Replace previous game.
How are we gonna get power here? You've been given all the info. Really?
Volcanic in origin, these rocks have been here for a long time.
The energy level is insufficient, Captain. We cannot generate the energy level needed to provide geothermal energy with hand phasers.
If it's thermal energy you want, Jim, I remember this planet that used a starship's phasers on a microwave setting to heat the surrounding rock to provide temporary power.
An interesting observation, Doctor. We could use the same technique here, but the beam would have to be extremely precise. If we targeted the wrong section, we could melt the rock and destroy the array.
Good idea there, Bug-Eye. Too bad I was too fast.
Mr. Scott requests to know if everything is all right, sir.
Tell Mr. Scott that everything is fine. Kirk out.
What do you mean?
These rocks are approximately 1.3 billion years old and are volcanic in origin.
You thought that was the solution? Yeah, I mean...
Mr. Scott requests to know if everything is all right, sir.
Tell Mr. Scott that everything is fine. Kirk out.
Use the beam. They're blown up.
This world is almost completely barren. The only life forms I can detect are nearby. As improbable as it might seem, I am getting multiple life form readings from inside this building.
You think it has something to do with the samples, then?
I am producing a new culture, Captain.
No effect.
Well, they were generating power here. Remember this?
A viewing port into the genetic holding tank.
The narrow width of the keyboard indicates the creatures who designed it were possessed of hands with only 3 fingers and a thumb.
Unless there's more. You don't need more.
These rocks are approximately 1.3 billion years old.
There's another one here.
The array appears to have deployed recently, which explains its lack of damage. This array appears focused on a point approximately 35 degrees above the horizon. This appears to be similar to Federation technology, Captain. Its control principles are similar to the Medaille sensor dish on Vulcan. It has locked the array at a 35-degree angle. Without knowledge of the code control sequence, I cannot adjust it. This rock is a secondary formation produced by the interaction of plates, earthquakes, and volcanism.
Blow it all up.
Kirk's Enterprise.
Enterprise to Captain. Mr. Scott wishes to know if you're ready to beam up.
Not yet, Uhura. Kirk out.
Well, we know this dish is misaligned. But to align it, we need power.
In sharp contrast to the surrounding stones, the array glitters unblemished by the surroundings.
The answer's in your hands. Unless it's firing the phaser, I don't see it.
No, I don't think that's necessary. No, I don't think that's necessary.
These rocks are approximately 1.3 billion years old and are volcanic in origin. All internal systems in Dr. McCoy.
I'm just a simple country doctor, not a magician. There's some things I just can't fix. Do you really expect me to analyze this, Jim?
Yeah, we got that. Yeah, we got this. That's the combination. They make the super powered organisms that power 10,000 times more than the other two.
Nothing unusual about that object, Captain. Nothing unusual about that object, Captain. These rocks are approximately 1.3 billion years old and are volcanic in origin. These rocks are approximately 1.3 billion years old and are volcanic in origin. Aside from this sensor array, there is nothing unexpected here.
I hope they didn't pay the landscapers very many credits for this work.
You know, Jim, this is not the kind of place to inspire homesickness.
Not quite a picnic spot, but it has its charm. What do you think, Bones?
With the thin atmosphere, sunblock 187 would be nice.
Well, I don't know what to do.
No, I don't think that's necessary. No, I don't think that's necessary.
Word on the ensign. And maybe that'll work.
I don't think you can insert samples into this machine, sir. They only come out of the machine.
Captain, the projector has already been activated.
Right, we already did that. We did everything here, though.
Well, this place seems peaceful enough.
Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created. I am authorized to tell you. Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created. I am authorized to tell you.
This place doesn't feel evil, Captain.
Do you have any idea what this machine does, Spock?
It looks like a containment unit for an artificially created genetic construct. My tricorder indicates the device contains a nutrient replicator that could last for thousands of centuries. I would speculate this would nursemaid the genes until it has evolved into a higher form of life and is ready for release on the planet's surface.
Okay.
The narrow width of the keyboard indicates the creatures who designed it were possessed of hands with only 3 fingers and a thumb.
We need to power the dishes. That's what we know. We also know that they need a strong microwave shot to power those. Okay, Deb, I don't know what you're talking about. If you keep spamming it, I'll kick you out. Like someone spamming a riddle. Don't you get it? Don't you get the riddle? It's the riddle. Why don't you understand the riddle? Let me tell you my riddle. Shut up.
It appears to have deployed recently, which explains its lack of damage. The support beneath the base is weak and crumbled. It is aligned to a point approximately 35 degrees above the horizon. I will need to adjust the control before the sensor array is realigned.
Okay.
I really don't think this is the sort of place that would be suited to resort traffic. These rocks would strip the hide off a Horta. I really don't think this is the sort of place that would be suited to resort traffic. These rocks would strip the hide off a Horta.
Standard Starfleet phaser set for kill.
Captain, we are too far from the thermal core to sufficiently heat it.
So the thermal core is to the right then.
Mr. Scott requests to know if everything is all right, sir.
Tell Mr. Scott that everything is fine. Kirk out.
Can we go further to the right?
Interesting rocks. I wish I'd paid more attention in geology class.
I thought your scores at the academy were exceptional.
I had a seat next to Finnegan on my geology class. Every day, a different practical job. I could never concentrate around him. I didn't fail the class, but I didn't learn as much as I could.
Standard volcanic rock. I would estimate 3.5 on the Mohs hardness scale.
If we get stuck here, we could make millstones out of this rock.
Geology? I'm a doctor, not a rock hound.
If the phasers don't work, we need more power from the phaser.
Captain, Destroying the equipment will achieve nothing.
No, I don't think that's necessary. No, I don't think that's necessary. No, I don't think that's necessary.
Okay. So, what do we do? What do we do?
Volcanic in origin, these rocks have been here for a long time.
We already poured the dish, though. The dish was poured in the computer in the north, which caused everything to light up. We picked up an extra one because we've been riddled to find the solution with that, but as I can see, so far, nothing happens. This is where we poured the green. Unless there's an extra room.
Captain, although this rock formation does indirectly lead to the thermal core, I suggest finding an area that would allow a more direct transfer of energy. Nothing unusual about that object, Captain. These rocks are approximately 1.3 billion years old and are volcanic in origin. Captain, although this rock formation does indirectly lead to the thermal core, I suggest finding an area that would allow a more direct transfer of energy.
What about here?
Nothing unusual about that object, Captain.
Jim, this isn't funny.
Mr. Scott requests to know if everything is all right, sir.
Tell Mr. Scott that everything is fine. Kirk out.
Well, there must be something we're not seeing.
Captain, although this rock formation does indirectly lead to the thermal core, I suggest finding an area that would allow a more direct transfer of energy. These rocks are approximately 1.3 billion years old and are volcanic in origin. Nothing unusual about that object, Captain.
We can phaser pretty much everything.
Doesn't do anything special for me, Captain.
Captain, although this rock formation does indirectly lead to the thermal core, I suggest finding an area that would allow a more direct transfer of energy. Captain, although this rock formation does indirectly lead to the thermal core, I suggest finding an area that would allow a more direct transfer of energy. This appears to be the most accessible spot to heat the rocks below the ground and generate geothermal energy for the array.
Kirk to Enterprise. Sulu, can you read me?
Sulu here, Captain. How can I help you?
The Enterprise should broadcast a low-level microwave beam at the coordinates I am sending.
We have them, Mr. Spock. Get ready. Stand away from the blast area.
Stand by, ready for weapons position.
It was in my hands all along.
Sending microwaves now.
And it had nothing to do with the green goo.
Temperature near the power coupling is rising rapidly. I estimate a below-ground temperature of 345 degrees Kelvin is required to reactivate the array. It is at 320, 330, 335, 340, 345, 350.
Shut off the beam, Mr. Sulu.
Affirmative, Captain.
The array is now drawing power. We were successful.
I like how they were like, I don't know, 40 feet away.
Interesting controls, right, Spock?
Fascinating, Captain. I am now attempting to realign the device to 32.5 degrees. It should now be correctly aligned.
Yeah, it turns out you didn't. Turns out the green goo was only used for one thing.
Thank you, Captain, for your aid in constituting my people and in the unexpected necessary realignment of our communications array. You have performed admirably. Of the 16 stations reporting at this point, there have been 50% fatalities, 30% other failures, and only 20% successes. One group got points for style.
Points for style? Is this some sort of game? Not another alien race with a superiority complex. Who are you this time? Your appreciation is welcome, but many questions remain unanswered. Who are you?
Who are you?
I am Sisissa, a projection of a synthesis of Azra and Visner. Clearly you know that the primitive life forms you have been dealing with are incapable of creating that in which you now stand. You will also note that the more demonic of the creatures displayed a passivity you did not expect, while the morally pure creature was aggressive and bloodthirsty.
The contradictions were noted and duly dealt with. I take it you were testing us on our ability to deal with disparate and contradictory inputs.
Yes, your reasoning ability was being tested, as well as your ability to adapt to new ideas when they conflict with deeply held beliefs and cultural customs. You passed quite admirably. The Brassica are impressed.
I'm not clear on who the Brassica are.
Captain, from this site, I can deduce various things about the Brassica. They are taller and more slender than we are. They are possessed of 3 fingers and a thumb on each hand. I suppose bilateral symmetry, and I know they possess greater visual acuity than humans. They visited this place well before humans had left the Cro-Magnon stage of development. And I note they have avoided detection by us, and presumably every other race in the universe, before they decided to send out signals to bring us to their bases.
Thank you, Mr. Spock.
And more you shall know as you continue on the quest. I wish you luck.
Kirk to Enterprise. Scotty, 4 to beam up.
You know, do we ever see them again in the show?
Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end.
In this case, Bones, a new beginning. We were the midwives for the rebirth of a life form. 2 halves that have been made whole again. That's the way it was meant to be.
And let us hope that this is the end of Ensign John's prejudices.
We can all learn to stop judging people by appearances. Ensign Johns might have done well to remember the biblical representation of Lucifer, appearing in the guise of an angel of light.
You can never trust anybody, and people who look like pointy-eared hobgoblins are definitely at the bottom of the list.
It appears that Dr. McCoy did not learn the lesson of this mission either. Unfortunate, but not unexpected.
Fortunately, the Alphans and the Omegans learned philosophy and personal belief are not as easily divorced from logic as some would believe. We humans attain our greatest fulfillment when both of them are united.
Really, Captain?
Really? But I've had enough philosophy for one day. I'd rather worry about these Brassica and their cosmic quest.
Well, with me aboard, we're sure to get points for style.
Many questions remain unanswered, Captain.
And there's only one way to answer them.
Captain, message from Starfleet.
Bring it up, Lieutenant.
I reviewed your report from your recent assignment, Captain, and have a few comments. The top brass at Starfleet are impressed with the results of your recent performance. Outstanding work, Jim. Keep up the good work. Kane out.
Ahead, Mr. Sulu. Warp factor 5.
Ahead?
Increasing to warp
Ahead
factor
to what?
5.
Just go forward. Voids.
Spock, where do you think we should start looking for this? Brassica?
Logic suggests that they will present us with opportunities to come to them.
Captain, a message from Starfleet.
On screen.
Captain, the USS Regulus has been forced to cancel its survey mission to the Antares Rift. We've decided to redirect the Enterprise to that mission. The USS Hood will take over for your current assignment.
Of course, the Antares Rift has a rather dangerous reputation.
Nothing the Enterprise can't handle. But be careful. Starfleet out.
I think so, Joestar.
The Antares Rift. It should be a most interesting assignment.
How so, Spock?
There have been several attempts to chart it. All expeditions into the Rift vanished without a trace.
But those expeditions were years ago. Our starships are far more capable than they were during the time of those attempts.
Captain, a 10-year-old child is far more capable than a 3-year-old child. But there are many problems that neither child can solve.
Very wise.
Save new game. Save new game. Can't delete previous. Save new game.
Voids. 1. Okay. So, where are we going?
I have consulted the log entries on the Rift in our computer. I would recommend that you do the same, even though they do not provide that much additional information.
Computer. Rift.
Antares Rift, an area of unstable space near the star Antares. Little is known of its properties. There have been numerous disappearances in this area.
Okay. Navigation. There.
Captain's log, stardate 6257.6. We have entered the Antares Rift and found spatial disruptions in the rift that make using warp engines extremely dangerous. Repairs are almost complete on the minor damage we suffered upon entry into the rift. We are continuing our survey using impulse engines.
My poor babies. Warp engines were meant to be used, Captain.
Communications are back online, Captain.
Deflectors at 93% power and increasing.
Captain, undoubtedly that phenomenon would explain many of the strange disappearances in this sector. Still, with our warp engines deactivated, our computers indicate we will be safe.
Oh.
Communications are out again, Captain. Is anyone hurt?
If he was human, Mr. Spock's pride might be...
Captain, sensors failed to indicate anything unusual prior to the explosion. I would speculate that it was caused by an extremely unusual rift in the space-time continuum, a place where radically different physical laws apply.
And since it was different space-time, our sensors weren't programmed to detect it.
And it could happen again at any time without warning.
Captain, I believe I may be able to adjust the sensors to detect these spatial rifts and pilot the Enterprise to avoid them. However, the sensors are too heavily damaged here. I will need to get to auxiliary control as soon as possible if I am to reroute the necessary systems.
Mr. Spock, the bulkheads were breached just outside of the bridge. No one's going to be able to leave the bridge for at least an hour unless they're transported out.
Well, this ain't good.
Save new game.
It's the first time we have a mission that we're like on the
Replace
bridge.
Previous game. Delete previous game. Save new game.
Scotty, what's our status?
Very bad, Captain. Whatever hit the Enterprise hit us right in our own neighborhood. The hull is breached 6 meters from the bridge. Beyond that, the instruments are useless. I can't read or send anything through these controls. We'll need a starbase to make this bridge functional again.
Scotty, how about auxiliary control?
Captain, I cannot determine the status of anything beyond the place where the rupture occurred. The rest of the ship could be dead as far as we know.
No, this is the first time we actually have a mission on the ship.
Ideas, Mr. Walker?
I'm a security guard, sir, not an idea man. Still, if we could send out probes to detect these rifts, we might get a better idea on whether they're moving or not, and whether we should stop and make repairs or keep moving.
Status, Mr. Sulu.
Helm is not responding, Captain. The controls are completely dead.
Oh no.
Status, Mr. Chekhov.
Captain, navigation is not responding.
Captain.
The circuits are as lifeless as a Stalinist.
Any ideas, Lieutenant?
I was barely able to reroute the necessary connections last time, Captain. Communications are completely useless now. We may be able to enter codes into the library computer and instruct others to send messages to us.
Captain, I believe I may be able to adjust the sensors to detect these spatial rifts and pilot the Enterprise to avoid them. However, the sensors are too heavily damaged here. I will need to get to auxiliary control as soon as possible if I am to reroute the necessary systems.
Mr. Spock, the bulkheads were breached just outside of the bridge. No one's going to be able to leave the bridge for at least an hour unless they're transported out.
Captain, the library computer is online. Apparently, its circuits were shielded from the explosion. Captain, I have managed to program a message into the library computer. The first time a person accesses the computer, they will read our distress signal. Hopefully, they can code a reply into the computer, which we can access. Captain, the transporters are operational. I request permission to be transported so I can begin the adjustments to sensors as soon as possible.
Go ahead, Spock. No, Spock, I'll go first. Go ahead, Spock.
Go ahead, Spock.
Spock!
What?
I can take care of that, Captain. I'm patching your log into the computer. You should have voice messages.
Captain, we've managed to jury-rig an evacuation tube through the bridge turbo lift. We should be able to keep it stable long enough for you to be evacuated.
Let's go. So that's where we wanted to go.
Captain's log. After equipping ourselves with tricorders and phasers, we are now searching for a way to find Spock and return him to us. I've determined that the best place to start
Yeah, it's jury rigged.
Captain, it's a very good thing we took the warp engines offline.
How bad is it, Scotty?
That explosion was 42% stronger than the one that struck near the bridge. Our left warp nacelle is crippled, Captain.
I hope it's not a trend. Keep me posted, Mr. Scott. Kirk out. Our highest priority is control of the sensors. We must find Spock.
I'll handle it, Captain. Remember, I was a physicist when I first joined the Enterprise.
Ah! Captain, look!
Captain, I'm picking up strange readings around the alien. It's as though it's continually popping in and out of reality.
Then how come we don't see any flicker?
It cycles between our space and something else. Once every millisecond. Too fast for the human eye to follow.
Wait.
Captain, what happened?
It appears our alien friend likes its privacy.
What's going on here?
Save new game.
Captain.
Replace previous game.
Well, they say the price of freedom is eternal vigilance.
What does that mean, Sulu? That we should have been more vigilant? How could we, if the sensor said nothing?
Well, maybe if Starfleet sensor designers would be quicker to modify their sensors to react to new phenomena.
You two are as bad as Spock and McCoy.
Awaiting orders, Captain.
Yeah, you know, it's the first time we have Sulu and Chekhov as well.
The Cossacks have locked the door, Captain.
Okay.
Well, Jim, I leave you alone for 5 minutes and look at the mess you've made.
All right, Bones.
Jim, what is going on out there?
Spock is gone, Bones. He was transporting off the bridge, and then he vanished, and then this alien appeared in auxiliary control.
An alien kidnapped Spock? Why?
I don't know, Bones.
Jim, I'll need a medical scan of the alien if I'm to do anything.
If we keep having these random explosions, Doctor, I'm afraid your sickbay is going to be overflowing.
I thought you were a helmsman, not the bearer of bad tidings.
I do many things well, Doctor.
Hello, Doctor. Nice weather, isn't it?
You're a navigator, not a conversationalist, Ensign.
Yes, I am. And an unappreciated navigator at that.
Don't worry, Doctor. I'm all right. You don't need to treat me.
Then why are you here?
I'm just with the captain. I'm feeling great. You don't have to...
That's fine, Lieutenant.
Well, Bones, it looks like we have to save Spock in order to save the Enterprise.
That's a tough choice, Jim.
Medical instruments line the wall of sickbay. Assorted medicines are stacked on shelves behind an enclosure. Assorted medicines are stacked on shelves behind an enclosure. This equipment allows Dr. McCoy to quickly synthesize chemicals and save his patients' lives.
Leave my equipment alone. If things don't improve, I'll be needing it soon. Leave my equipment alone. If things don't improve, I'll be needing it soon.
Guess we don't need anything here. Transporter room, engineering, because now that we're here.
Captain, there has been an explosion near the shuttle bay. I'm fine. There has been no significant damage.
Any luck communicating with Starfleet Command?
I have made contact with the light cruiser USS Jefferson, sir. It will reach the edge of Antares Rift in 16 hours. The Rift is playing havoc with communications.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Kirk out.
Scotty.
Captain, I got bad news for you. This rift is affecting the hull of the ship. Our hull integrity is dropping fast.
How bad is it, Scotty?
It's at 92% and dropping rapidly. According to our system specs, if it drops below 63%...
Put as much powers as you can to the shields. Use them to support our hull integrity. Divert as much power as you can to the sensors. Let's find out what's causing this. Evacuate all people from the outer decks. Divert power from life support on those decks evenly to shields and sensors. Put as much powers as you can to the shields. Use them to support our hull integrity.
Hey there, Block. What should we do? Shields or sensors? Three, one.
Divert as much power as you can to the sensors. Let's find out what's causing this. Evacuate all people from the outer decks. Divert power from life support on those decks evenly to shields and sensors. Put as much powers as you can to the shields. Use them to support our hull integrity.
That will probably only buy us a few minutes, Captain.
Do it, Scotty. Every minute counts. Kirk out.
Life support control systems. This monitors and controls the ship's life support. Impulse engine fuel control systems. This system monitors fuel usage in the impulse engines. This seems pointless. Deflector control grid. This system prevents the Enterprise from being pulverized at near light speed by micrometeorites. Impulse engine fuel control systems. This system monitors fuel usage in the impulse engines. This seems pointless.
You know, it just wouldn't be the Enterprise without a crisis.
Sometimes I wish space were a little more predictable than it is. Captain, surely you must have a plan.
Of course I do. I just need to find out what it is, that's all.
Oh, that's very reassuring, Captain.
Well, here we are. The ship is literally falling apart. Space could explode randomly at any moment and destroy the Enterprise, and Spock has been kidnapped by the aliens.
Aye, a typical day on the Enterprise.
Typical day.
You get no response.
Captain, is it too late to put in a request for an early retirement?
Scotty, if we hit any more of these random detonations, it'll be mandatory retirement for all of us.
Actually, Captain, I was hoping for a better pension.
Mr. Scott looks a bit more frazzled than usual, Captain.
Well, what do you expect, man? I'm not a miracle worker. There's only so much a person can do.
Impulse engine fuel control systems. This system monitors fuel usage in the impulse engines. This board is a summary of the ship's engineering status, so that Mr. Scott and the other engineers will have necessary information before they enter engineering. The hull integrity status looks dangerously low.
Oh, that's not good.
Captain, where would you like to be transported?
Send us to sickbay, Mr. Kyle. Send us to engineering, Mr. Kyle. Send us to auxiliary control, Mr. Kyle. We'll transport later, Mr. Kyle.
The force field generator containment controls, used to prevent intruders from getting to engineering. They are not functioning.
Kirk to Scott. Come in, Scotty. Kirk to Uhura. Come in, Lieutenant. Kirk to sick bay. Bones, where are you? Computer. Kirk to Scott. Come in, Scotty.
Captain, the hull degradation is continuing. It's currently below 92%, but at the rate it's dropping, we have less than an hour before the ship is destroyed.
Well, we gotta have a medical scan of the alien.
This panel doesn't seem to be working.
The alien has thought of everything.
We could bring down a phaser welder and force it open.
We don't have the time, Mr. Sulu.
This screen shows the layout on this deck. The door directly ahead of you leads to the auxiliary control.
Yeah, we could transport there and scan him.
Captain, where would you like to be transported?
Send us to sickbay, Mr. Send us to engine. Send us to auxiliary control.
Yes, sir.
Energize.
Captain, I'm getting a sensor reading on the alien. I'm sure Dr. McCoy will find this data interesting.
Boing.
Save new game. Save new game. Replace previous. Delete previous. Save new game.
Bones, we've got the medical scan of the alien.
Not again. Jim, we've got to get out of here.
We need to get Spock back.
I should have known the Spock would be good for something someday. Now the day has come and he isn't here.
Here's the sensor scan, Bones.
Jim, this says our invaders are Vorians.
Vurians? But they're extinct. They died out at the time that Cochrane invented the warp drive. They were slaughtered in the Three Systems War.
Jim, I know my history, but I also know my anatomy. The alien in auxiliary control is a Vorian. There's only one strange thing.
What's that?
This creature isn't capable of doing some of the things that you described. It's an ordinary Vorian. No special organs, no unusual brain patterns, nothing that traditionally suggests superhuman feats.
Can you neutralize it, Bones?
Actually, it's a female. And yes, I know of something that can incapacitate it without harming it. A gas mixture. You'll have to pump large quantities into auxiliary control for it to be effective, but it should work almost immediately. Here's the gas, Jim. Be careful with it. There hasn't been a Vorian in 150 years.
Time to pump gas.
Is it too late to put in a request for an early retirement?
Scotty, if we hit any more of these random detonations, it'll be mandatory retirement for all of us.
Actually, Captain, I was hoping for a better pension.
Life support control systems. This monitors and controls the ship's life support.
Support this.
Not in there, Captain. Put the gas in the life support pump, then use the controls.
Where's the life support pump?
Deflector control grid. This system prevents the Enterprise from being pulverized at near light speed by micrometeorites. This leads into the Jeffries tube and is sealed due to a hull breach. Life support control systems. This monitors and controls the ship's life support. The impulse engines of the USS Enterprise.
Oh no!
Looking at them reminds you of several times they threatened to break down. Now the engines are running fine. It's the other sections of the Enterprise that are breaking down. Impulse engine fuel control systems. This system monitors fuel usage in the impulse engines. Life support control systems. This monitors and controls the ship's life support. This seems pointless. This device stores special chemicals that are pumped into the ship's atmosphere when needed, and is operated by the life support system.
It was there. We got it. I got it tattooed on my chest.
Dr. McCoy had given me the specs on that gas injection system. It looks like a rather clumsy fit.
I'll do it, Scotty.
You'd think that Dr. McCoy would have some respect for engineering.
Let's see how our alien friend likes Dr. McCoy's medicine.
Probably as much as we do, Hikaru.
Mr. Kyle, can you transport me to auxiliary control?
Aye, sir. But I have to remind you how dangerous intership transporting can be. We've really been pushing our luck today.
I'm aware of that, Mr. Kyle, but we have to take the risk.
Intership transporting is dangerous? But they do it all the time.
Look, something's happening.
Save new game. Replace.
That's odd. All systems look normal. The aliens haven't touched navigation. What's going on?
What is going on?
This station is functioning normally, Captain.
This seems pointless. A warp impulse energy efficiency diagram. The diagram shows that the warp engines are not currently active. This station is identical to the bridge's science station, allowing access to external sensors and the library computer.
Everything seems to be working. Library computer, external sensors. Mr. Sulu, see if you can find where the Vurian went. Maybe that will lead us to Spock.
Captain, I'm detecting the Vurian. She seems to have vanished through a rift in space. I have the coordinates of her last known location.
Okay.
Captain, we can't affect the dilithium monitor. It's only a readout of the lattice efficiency and stability.
The dilithium crystal lattice monitor. Dilithium crystals are at 89% efficiency. This is below the optimum range, but still acceptable.
That's odd. All systems look normal. The aliens haven't touched the helm. Mr. Kyle, you have the coordinates where the alien teleported?
Captain, you're asking me to transport you into another dimension. I may not be able to lock onto you there.
I'm aware of the risk, Mr. Kyle. You have your orders.
Aye, sir.
Just transport me in another dimension.
Energize.
Let's go. I mean, the ship's gonna blow up. Might as well.
Captain's personal log. I have transported to many strange places in my day, but beaming into an alien dimension is something entirely unique. Only the extreme risk to my ship and my friend Spock would cause me to take such a drastic risk.
This doesn't look like a nice place to visit.
There's the Vurian. I don't see Spock.
He's got to be around here somewhere.
Okay.
A pile of blue stones. Strange boulders jut from the depths of this strange planetscape. Although it looks like common dirt, the ground in this strange place feels softer, spongier. Each footstep you take here feels strange.
Strange.
This gem-like stone has a dull orange luster. Although it looks like common dirt. A Vurian. The alien doesn't appear to be noticing you.
It's just scratching his back.
The ground registers as alive, Captain. Almost like some colony life form. It registers a psionic signature. No effect, Captain. I don't have enough knowledge of Vorian anatomy.
I hope the inhabitants of this dimension don't mind visitors.
Starfleet. What a career move. I really have been where no man has gone before.
Let's find Spock and get out of here quickly.
You aren't scared, are you?
Not at all. The Russians are just an efficient and very sensible people.
I wonder how many other universes like this one exist, connected to ours by a thread.
According to Professor Tomau's theory, that would be dependent on the number of dimensions shared by the two universes.
But Professor Ondiango's theory would contradict this.
Ondiango has never proven his theory.
But Tamao's theory doesn't explain slingshot effects.
Gentlemen, it was a rhetorical question.
Alright, well, let's go talk to the guy doing, whatever here. Baconating.
Greetings, Lord Kirk. I am Eminata. I regret the discomfort that I put you through on your ship. I wish only to preserve my joy by serving the Savant.
Are you willing to help me, Eminata? Where is Spock? How did you come to be here? What were you doing on my ship? Are you willing to help me, Eminata? Where is Spock? How did you come to be here? What were you doing on my ship? Are you willing to help me, Eminata?
Okay.
Possibly. I am aware of your ship's distress. I can bring it to the attention of the Savant. It may help.
Actually, I was thinking more about freeing Spock. What is the Savant? I would appreciate the Savant being informed. Actually, I was thinking more about freeing Spock.
Free?
What is this? I would appreciate the Savant being informed.
It is done. The Savant awaits.
Oh, okay.
I am the Savant. I wish you and all entities nothing but joy.
Who are you? Why do you ensnare others against their will? Release Spock at once and allow us to return to our ship. Who are you?
Who are you?
Once, eons ago, I was akin to you, a creature of flesh and pain. But I released myself from these bonds and became an entity of pure emotion. And I came to this place to find a shelter from the cares of the universe.
Okay.
Strange boulders jut from the depths of this strange planetscape. A pouch from the Vorian life support capsule. Strange boulders jut from the depths of this strange planetscape.
Oh, we got a pouch.
It's just a pouch, Captain.
Captain, I mean, it's a pouch. What do you want me to tell you?
Replace
Captain, you misunderstand me. It is not my will to bring harm to any creature. I have taken two creatures that are without the most important thing in existence, joy, and given it to them in infinite variety and abundance. The Vurian was filled with despair at the death of her race. She was overwhelmed by sorrow and grief. I have healed her of these afflictions forever. As for the Vulcan, he has been conditioned to deny his emotions. I am bringing him in contact with a part of himself that will enhance his life. It is a gift of love.
You have no right to inflict emotions on any being, regardless of how positive you may think them to be, without their consent. Get a life. You can't just sit around feeling happy for eternity. What does that accomplish?
What?
Love? Spock doesn't want your gift. He doesn't need your gift. Release him and let us return to our ship. You have no right to inflict emotions on any being, regardless of how positive you may think them to be, without their consent.
I give them an eternity of joy. Is that not every creature's desire? How can granting a subliminal desire be beyond my rights?
That is the most arrogant piece of presumption I have ever heard. An eternity of joy. And I suppose you derive no benefits from the people you hold prisoner? Do you honestly believe that because what you do may benefit them, that the ends justify the means?
This one seems alright.
That is the most arrogant piece of presumption I have ever heard. An eternity of joy. Do you honestly believe that...
Yes, Captain. For such a great good as that which I provide, the ends do justify the means. I will send you back to your own ship and give you safe passage through the Antares Rift if you wish. Welcome. Have you come to ask for transportation back to your ship?
Not without Spock. Savant, isn't there anything I can do to make you see reason? Release Spock, or we will be forced to destroy you.
Oh, whoa.
Not without Spock. Savant, isn't there anything I can do to make you see reason? Release Spock, or we will be forced to destroy you.
3? Seems a bit much, don't you think?
Not without Spock.
He took Spock because he was devoid of emotion, and he wanted to give him back emotion. Something like that.
Savant, isn't there anything I can do to make you see reason? Release Spock, or we will be forced to destroy you. Not without Spock. Savant, release, not without Spock.
Captain, why do you begrudge your comrade's newfound happiness?
Because it was not his doing, nor his choice. Because he's being used by you and held against his will. He has duties and obligations, and you're keeping him from them. Because it was not his doing, nor his choice. Because he's being used by you and held against his will.
One seems right.
I give far more than I receive, Captain. If you truly love your comrade, you will not deny him bliss.
We need to find a weakness in whatever kidnaps Spock.
I'm afraid I'm all out of ideas. Maybe if we analyze everything, we might think of something.
Why do I have the feeling that a phaser isn't going to solve our problems this time?
Strange boulders jut from the depths of this strange planetscape.
Well, there's a bunch of balls here. It's true. That's all I know.
Captain, this stone has a cell structure. It must be organic. It also has a wave signature indicative of some sort of psionic abilities. Captain, I am detecting a large quantity of these blue stones underneath the surface in this spot.
Okay, what did the blue stones do?
A pile of blue stones.
Now this is strange. According to the tricorder, everything around us is organic.
But it feels like minerals to me.
Tricorders don't lie, Pablo.
It could be a deception, Captain.
Why does it cut?
Save new game. Replace
I'll get them, Captain.
I don't like this.
put them in the pouch we found. Boy, am I getting an odd feeling from these stones.
Okay. Do we pick up the other ones?
You have met the Savant. Now you realize the true power of this place.
Are you willing to help me, Eminata?
Through the Savant, I know your desires. Why should I help release the poor Vulcan into a life of misery?
Because I need him to save the lives of over 400 people on the ship. Because Spock does not want artificial joy. He does not want this lie. Because I need him to save the lives of over 400 people on the ship. Because Spock does not want artificial joy. He does not want this lie.
Very well, Captain. I will help you. You have met the Savant. Now you realize the true power of this place.
Where is Spock? How did you come to be? What were you doing on? You agreed to help us. Where is Spock?
The Lord Spock is not far. His mind dances in the bliss of this place. He would welcome you. It is not a long or difficult search to find him. You have met the Savant. Now you realize the true power of this place.
How did you come to be here? What were you doing on my ship? How did you come to be here?
I was a lone soldier, fleeing the massacres that followed the Three Systems War. I was heavily outnumbered. In desperation, I attempted to use my son's gravity well to propel my ship into a high warp velocity, so I could escape the pursuit.
I remember reading about that war in my history class at the Academy.
I was warped into the Antares sector. I traveled through a dimensional rift into this place. The Savant sustained me and gave me joy where there was once only despair. I have been here ever since. You have met the Savant. Now you realize the true power of this place.
What were you doing on my ship?
The Savant empowered me to remove any psionically adept being from your ship, and to prevent you from following him. It was not our intention to do you harm. You have met the Savant. Now you realize the true power of this place.
You agreed to help us.
You have already met the Savant, and he remains unmoved. I am taking the emotions in your mind and broadcasting them to him. Your concern for your ship, your love for your comrade. He regrets your feelings, but his purpose is unchanged.
Save new game. Replace pre.
No effect.
I heard that, Mr. Sulu.
I didn't say anything.
You've always been saying things behind my back. You've always said I don't have enough discipline, that I don't respect my crew. You're insubordinate, Mr. Sulu.
Get hold of yourself, Captain.
What on earth was I saying? I'm sorry, Mr. Sulu. That was not...
Captain, I think we better get out of here as soon as possible.
Is it the red stone?
No effect.
No effect, Captain. That's interesting. These stones check out as organic matter. It's just a pouch, Captain.
Welcome. Have you come to ask for transportation back to your ship?
Not without Spock.
Captain, why do you begrudge your comrade's newfound happiness?
Because it was not his doing, nor his choice.
There are many things in nature that are not desired, but bring good fortune. Be content with your comrade's serendipity, and ask for your safe return to your vessel.
Out of a bag of blue stones.
You disturb my rest. Fortunately, I am not alone in bliss. Do not use such a tactic again on me. I warn you. What is this? What am I feeling? What have you done?
What's the matter, Savant? Not feeling those good vibrations? Life isn't all happiness and joy. It's time you experienced a reality check.
Oh no!
Is that sadness you're feeling, Savant? It couldn't be that those inferior humans have outwitted your great wisdom, could it? What's the matter, Savant? Life isn't all happiness and joy. It's time you experienced a reality check.
Reality check, baby.
No. I have spent millions of years trying to escape the anguish. Misery is the destroyer of worthy souls, Captain, and you are destroying me.
I'm not destroying you. Your own unwillingness to respect others is destroying you. Free Spock and return us to our ship, and this will end. I didn't want to do this, but if I have to destroy you to free my friend, I will. I'm not destroying you. Your own unwillingness to respect others is destroying you.
Not my fault. It's your fault.
Am I really such a monster that I deserve such pain?
You have lost respect for others, Savant. Everyone may have different goals, different ideals than you, and you have the right to pursue them. You need to respect their free will, even if it makes them miserable.
You do not understand me, Captain, but I am in no mood to argue. You and your scientist may be freed. Enjoy your universe, Captain Kirk.
Oh, I wonder if I used the red one.
Captain's log, we are out of the Antares Rift and are on our way to Starbase 8, where the Enterprise has extensive repairs scheduled. All crew members, including First Officer Spock, are safely aboard.
So, Spock, you mean you had an eternity of pure enjoyment and you gave it up?
Affirmative, Doctor.
That has to be the most illogical thing I've ever heard. Humans spend their entire lifetime dreaming of an eternity of pleasure.
As do animals in the field. Perhaps humans are meant to be better than that. Perhaps we should dream of greatness, not simple gratification.
Greatness is a term subject to individual interpretation, Captain. The savant viewed the pursuit of greatness as useless, because all great deeds and accomplishments are destined to be forgotten in cosmic terms.
A cosmic being thinks in cosmic terms, Spock. But somehow that philosophy overlooks a lot of life's little pleasures. There's just one thing that bothers me about the whole thing.
Really, Doctor?
Spock finally got to enjoy himself, and I wasn't there to see it. Now that's something worth remembering.
Message from Starfleet Command.
On screen.
I reviewed your report from your recent assignment, Captain, and have a few comments. The top brass at Starfleet are impressed with the results of your recent performance. Outstanding work, Jim. Keep up the good work. Kane out.
Museum piece.
How long until we reach Nova Atar, Ensign?
About 23 hours, Captain.
22 hours, 53 minutes, and 17 seconds to be precise.
Spock, there's no need to be precise. We're going on shore leave. Rest, relaxation, no calls from Starfleet.
Call from Starfleet.
Captain, we have a message coming in from Admiral Richards at Starfleet.
On screen, Lieutenant.
Hello, Jim. I know you're going on shore leave, but...
What is it, Chris?
Since you're going there anyway, and it's only a small favor...
Favor?
I don't want to inconvenience you, but...
Fine, you have it. What would you like me to do?
We recently discovered that one of the exhibits in the Smithsonian Annex at Nova Atar is of great historical significance to the Serenzi, an influential family from planet Lakian. The museum is going to have a small ceremony to return the item. The Federation planned to send a representative, but, well, she couldn't make it. Since you'll be in the neighborhood, well, no dress uniforms. All you have to do is smile and shake hands.
Smile, shake hands. It would be my pleasure, Admiral. My chief engineer had already promised to show me around. We'll be there.
Thanks, Jim. I owe you one. Check your data files for details. Oh, one more thing, Jim. Due to the security concerns, you won't be allowed to bring any electronic equipment with you. Richard's out.
Now, I was saying...
Captain, do we really have to stand around and listen to speeches from a bunch of politicians?
It won't be all bad, Scotty. The curator's a major cognac producer, and he asked us to show up early to thank us for our support.
Captain, it'd be rude to keep a man like the curator waiting, what with an important diplomatic function to prepare for.
Oh, Mr. Scott, you big drunk.
Save new game. Delete previous game. Save new game.
Museum 1. Alright. Now, Rusty wanted to see something real quick.
I heard that, Mr. Sulu.
I didn't say anything.
You've always been saying things behind my back. You've always said I don't have enough discipline, that I don't respect my crew. You're insubordinate, Mr. Sulu.
Get hold of yourself, Captain.
What on earth was I saying? I'm sorry, Mr. Sulu, that was not...
Captain, I think we better get out of here as soon as possible.
No effect. No effect. No effect.
What are we doing here? Why did we come here?
Captain?
There's no way back. We'll never find Spock. We're trapped here forever, and it's all my fault. I knew the Antares Rift was dangerous. I should never have let the ship go in there.
Captain?
But let's find Spock.
No effect.
Why are you reaching for your phaser, Mr. Sulu?
Captain.
Walker, I saw you sneaking up on me.
Sir.
You're all against me. I've gotten rid of Spock, now me. Who's next? Scotty? Uhura? Or are they part of this too?
Captain, snap out of it.
Something is definitely wrong. Such intense emotions.
Trying out all the stones.
This place reminds me of Deneva. I lost my brother there. He was a few years younger than I was, and there were times when he annoyed me.
Captain?
And now he's gone. Gone. I'll never see him again, never tell him... To tell him...
Captain, snap out of it.
This place must be getting to me. Don't worry, Mr. Walker, I'll protect you.
Sir?
Sulu, Chekhov. You know, I may never have told you this before, but I care for you all more than I can tell. Sulu, with your dedication, your unwavering sense of responsibility...
Captain, are you talking about me?
Chekhov, I've always been impressed by your enthusiasm. All those wonderful Russian jokes, your humanity.
Captain?
And you, Mr. Walker, with your rugged determination.
Wholesome
I'll bet you had more girlfriends than anyone in the history of the Academy.
Actually, sir, I'm... celibate.
What was I just saying?
All right. Let's see if we can throw the stones in there. Exactly.
Save new game. Replace.
This object has no effect against me.
Oh.
This object has no effect against me. This object has no effect against me.
He's too strong.
This object has no effect against me. You disturb my rest. Fortunately, I am not alone in bliss. Do not use such a tactic again on me. I warn you. What is this? What am I feeling? What have you done?
What's the matter, Sadat? Not feeling those good vibrations?
Please, have mercy. I would rather die than experience such sorrow.
If you will listen to reason, I will release you.
I think the reason why is because one stone isn't enough to influence him, but since we had a huge pack of stones, that's why it's a big effect.
I do not wish to reward violence, Captain.
Taking Spock against his will is an act of violence too, Select. No entity, no matter how wise, can impose eternity on another creature. Even the most authoritarian gods of myth never strip their subjects of their free will.
I remain unconvinced, Captain. But I am too aggrieved to argue. You and your scientist will be returned to your craft. Live long and prosper, James Kirk. Live well in your universe. And I shall try to live well in mine.
Captain's log.
So, Spock, you mean you from that
As to
break a cop really done, Spock?
Message from Star.
On screen.
I review the top.
Museum. Alright, so that'll be it for
How long until we reach Nova Atar? And
About 20
Spock.
for StarCraft for today.
Captain, we have a message coming in from Admiral.
What is it? Favorite? Fine.
We read. Thanks.
Now,
Captain.
Captain.
Did I say StarCraft? That'll be enough for Star Trek for today. We're going to segue into Disco Elysium in a few minutes. Stay tuned for that. And a special thanks to Worm for supporting the channel. Thanks for watching.